Stephanie Murphy's defiant long game to keep Dems in power. The voice of House battleground Democrats isn't afraid to openly criticize her party leaders if she thinks it will help them keep the House in 2022. Representative Stephanie Murphy wasn't always the kind of centrist Democrat willing to publicly take on the leaders of her own party. That's changed in the narrowest House majority in decades. Murphy has emerged as one of the most vocal critics of President Joe Biden's chaotic attempts to clear both his infrastructure and social spending plans through Congress, embracing a blunt manner that's made her a spokesperson of sorts for her party's small but feisty moderate wing. The Florida Democrat is now among a small band of moderates threatening to delay a vote on the sprawling $1.75 trillion bill until lawmakers can know the full price tag, a process that can take weeks, even if it infuriates fellow Democrats who are eager to vote. "I feel like I have an obligation to reflect the voices of districts that don't look like the majority of our caucus," Murphy said in an interview. That position, along with several others that have won her no favors in the party, aren't just about her own battleground district. The senior member of the moderate Blue Dog Coalition sees part of her role as throwing herself on political grenades for endangered members facing injurious votes, even if it means each of Murphy's public stands against Speaker Nancy Pelosi and Biden reads like a threat to unravel her party leader's agenda. When Biden visited the House in early October, for instance, Murphy said afterward that she was stunned by the president's decision not to prod members to vote for his infrastructure plan that day. Instead, he bowed to progressive pressure and greenlighted a delay on the infrastructure bill. He took what would have otherwise been a historic, bipartisan win and turned it into a partisan cudgel against his own party, Murphy said. The Florida Democrat has embraced this more confrontational role amid questions about her own political future, weighing her options as she faces a likely tough redistricting battle to keep her seat. While once seen as certain to run for Senate in 2022, she opted out of a brutal primary battle to challenge Senator Marco Rubio, Republican Florida, and could turn her sights to a 2024 race for the upper chamber, according to people close to her. "I try to handle things outside of the glare of the media," Murphy said, adding she feels protective of her fellow moderates. "I try to handle things outside of the glare of the media." The real talking centrist mantle that Murphy's now donning in the House was once worn by a lawmaker now known more for her silence, Senator Kyrsten Sinema, Democrat Arizona. Before Sinema moved from the House to the Senate in 2018, she was a swing state scrapper who defended Murphy when leadership pressured her to take a tough vote. When Democrats tried to corner Murphy on a tough vote, the Florida Democrat recalled Sinema stepping in to privately tell her, "You do what you need to do." Like Sinema, Murphy has an independent streak, a distaste for cable TV antics, and is something of an enigma to many of her colleagues from deep blue districts. "If you want to break out of partisan stalemate and achieve lasting results for our country, you want Stephanie Murphy on your side," Sinema said in a statement to Politico. "If you want to break out of partisan stalemate and achieve lasting results for our country, you want Stephanie Murphy on your side." Some Democrats have privately grumbled that Murphy and her fellow moderates have gummed up the works on Biden's broader spending plan, like when she and 3 other centrists voted against parts of his bill in committee this summer. They point to Murphy's role on Pelosi's whip team and her seat on the Speaker's hand-picked panel investigating January 6 as reasons they were surprised by her public criticism. But Murphy dismissed the notion that any plum committee spot should mean curbing any of her public or private statements. "Had someone offered me the January 6 committee in exchange for some future vote, I wouldn't be on that committee." Murphy's allies also point out that she has played a key role in quietly shaping legislation and building consensus across the Democrats' centrist bloc for years, usually preferring to work behind the scenes with Pelosi, House Majority Leader Steny Hoyer, DMD, and other leaders. The decision to speak out more publicly this year was, in part, because the House's centrist bloc felt that it needed a counterweight to the House's larger and more vocal progressive wing as Biden's agenda moved through the Hill. "She's never been shy," said Representative Kurt Schrader, another co-chair of the Blue Dog Coalition. "She's never been shy." If Murphy does stay in the House, other Democrats have speculated that she could have a place in the next generation of leaders. They point to her compelling personal story as a Vietnamese refugee who went on to work at the Pentagon and the trust she's built among vulnerable members. Stephanie Murphy is a smart, hard-working, thoughtful and principled leader within the House Democratic Caucus, and her voice matters, said caucus chair Hakeem Jeffries, DN.Y. He added that her victory in 2016 helped form Stephanie Murphy as a smart, hard-working, thoughtful and principled leader within the House Democratic caucus, and her voice matters to Democrats taking back the majority 2 years later.